MMA fighters aren't supposed to show mercy in the ring. When they lock in their submission move, they want their opponent to either tap, snap, or nap. But some competitors simply refuse to give up no matter what their opponent throws at them. And while this often makes for some extremely dramatic fights, it can also result in horrible injuries that can potentially end careers. What's up, fight fans, and welcome to another video. Today, we're talking about some crazy instances where fighters refuse to tap out, even when they probably should have. This often leads to fighters pushing themselves way too far by fighting on well past the point of no return. Let's get into it. First up, Tony Ferguson's Terminator-like tolerance for pain. Love him or hate him, you cannot question El Cucui's toughness, but his absolute refusal to quit has taken its toll over the years. Never was this more apparent than in his 2021 fight against Charles Oliveira.
Look at what's happening here. Look what's happening here.
Oh, he's got him hurt. That's him deep.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness.
Oliveira snatches an armbar that looks even more brutal in slow motion. Ferguson is twisting and turning wildly trying to escape, but Charles has it locked in tight. Remember, there's only 10 seconds left in the round here. Ferguson could easily just grit his teeth, tap out, and live to fight another day. But nope, Tony lets his arm get stretched to the limit and then keeps fighting for another 15 minutes. Incredible pain tolerance on display there. While it was awesome to see in the moment, you do have to wonder if Ferguson might still be a top contender today if he was a bit more willing to tap and avoid serious injury throughout his wars. Either way, nothing but respect for El Cucuy. Up next, we've got Corey Sandhagen showing off his iron will against Yuri Alcantara. Just moments into this fight, Sandhagen finds himself fully mounted and in a world of trouble. Alcantara cinches up a nasty reverse triangle armbar combo that has Corey's arm bent at a horrifying angle. Seriously, his elbow looks like it's about to snap here. I have no idea how Sandhagen didn't tap instantly into that. The way he manages to hang tough, stack Alcantara up, and then reverse the position is unbelievable.
Well, Sandhagen's got toughness if nothing else. My goodness, reverses position.
He's out. Yuri's still looking for that armbar.
This was a major statement for the young prospect at the time and really put the division on notice about what Sandhagen brings to the table. The guy seems almost inhuman with the submissions and positions he's willing to endure. Scary stuff. Alright, let's move on to a submission victory that was more smashed arm than tap out. I'm talking about Shinya Aoki's demolishing of Mizuto Hirota back in 2009. So there was definitely some bad blood coming into this fight after Hirota had beaten a teammate of Aoki earlier that year. And when Aoki slaps on a hammerlock here, he makes it very clear he plans on getting revenge. Hirota refuses to give up, trying desperately to spin out of the lock as Aoki cranks hard on the submission. But instead of the usual tap, we hear an absolutely sickening snap.
That's gonna be solved. That is a bully beatdown. Hirota in trouble. Aoki applying the pressure outside.
Aoki leaps up in celebration as Hirota rolls around screaming in agony with a completely broken arm. I mean, was the bone-crunching vengeance really necessary? This goes beyond just refusing to tap. Aoki was out for blood and he made sure to get it. Switching gears a bit for our next clip, how about that time John Jones overcame maybe the closest near finish of his career against Vitor Belfort? In the first round, Belfort slaps on a tight armbar that has Jones in all kinds of trouble. Vitor looks inches away from pulling off the massive upset as Jones struggles to free himself.
He catches it right here. Vitor Belfort looking to finish his fight. Jones trying to power out of it. Can he get it?
He might break that arm, Mike. He might break that arm.
Wow.
You know what? It's a little high now. I think he's out. He's out. He's out.
Wow.
You can see the panic set in for Jones here as he finally stacks Belfort up and hurls him off to escape. That was by far the closest we've ever seen someone come to submitting Jones. But he showed great poise under pressure, trusted his skill, and now we hardly even remember how much danger he was actually in. Just a ridiculous display of calm and flexibility to not tap and fight his way out of a fight-ending submission against all odds. The champ mentality from Jones is on full display. The next fighter who probably wishes he had tapped doesn't actually lose by submission very often. Instead, he suffers his first ever broken bone defeat. I'm talking about Ronaldo Chacare Souza against Andre Muniz. Late in the first round, Muniz takes Chacare's backstanding and slams him into the mat. He immediately isolates the arm and you can see Souza grimacing in agony instantly. Rather than tap and surrender the position though, Shakure tries to gut it out. His arm gets cranked past the point of no return and we hear that stomach-turning snap. Muniz celebrates as Souza rolls around clutching his destroyed limb. That is one absolute warrior there in Shakure, clinging on to his undefeated submission record even as his arm gets mangled. Talk about going out on your shield. Next up, let's go back to the birth of the women's bantamweight division, when Holly Holm defended her title for the first time against Miesha Tate at UFC 196. Despite being largely outstruck over 5 rounds, Tate refuses to go away. She finally secures a takedown late in the final round to take Holmes back. Although exhausted, Miesha summons the energy to cinch up a fight-ending choke. Holm battles to hang on but soon goes limp as the crowd explodes.
She's got it back! Still has it! She's tapping! She's tapping! It's all over!
Now, this wasn't so much an instance of Holm refusing the tap and suffering major damage, but after shocking the world against Rusi, you know she desperately didn't want her Cinderella story to end. Holm fought with absolutely everything she had to try to deny Tate the submission, but eventually succumbed to the choke. It was a heartbreaking end to a gritty, incredible fight, one that kicked off a new era for the 135-pound women's division. Sticking with all-time greats, Royce Gracie has perhaps the most iconic MMA match where he refused to tap out against Kazushi Sakuraba nearly 22 years ago. The two met at Pride Grand Prix 2000 in an epic clash of jiu-jitsu royalty versus Japanese catch wrestling. Most expected Gracie's ground expertise to prevail as it had his entire storied career. However, after nearly an hour and a half of grueling back-and-forth grappling exchanges, it was the relatively unknown Sakuraba who was pushing the pace while Gracie gamely refused to submit despite mounting damage. As the fight crept towards the 90-minute mark, Gracie grew increasingly exhausted while Sakuraba began unleashing crushing knee strikes that badly wobbled Royce's legs. Yet the proud Brazilian dug deep, shaking off submission attempts and gutting through savage strikes rather than allowing Sakuraba the honor of finishing him. Fans watched in concerned awe at Gracie's unrelenting fortitude. The bout ultimately concluded after a whopping 1 hour and 40 minutes when Gracie's corner threw in the towel as their fighter collapsed from ruptured blood vessels in his legs. Royce pleaded to continue, but doctors deemed it impossible. Neither man could force the tap out, but by the end, Gracie was barely standing from the effects of Sakuraba's kicks and his own refusal to yield. UFC's first champion showcased truly extraordinary mental and physical stamina in defeat that night in Tokyo at Pride Grand Prix 2000. Royce Gracie's relentless Iron Man performance forever etched his submit no one ever warrior code into fight lore. His prideful resistance to tap when facing defeat remains an inspiration for MMA fighters everywhere. We also can't overlook this incredible display of stubborn toughness from Takeya Muzugaki against the legendary Uriah Faber at WEC 52. Late in the opening round, Faber catches a fatigued Muzugaki in a crushing rear naked choke. With his neck torqued at a frightening angle, most fighters would be frantically tapping here. But the iron-willed Muzugaki defiantly shakes his head and gives a thumbs down, signaling he refuses to submit, even as his eyes appear ready to pop out of his skull. Showing freakish flexibility, Takeya somehow rotates and relieves pressure just long enough for the round to end. He then pops up smiling, fully embracing the warrior spirit. Mizugaki's hardened choke escape really won over the MMA faithful that night. The dude was in a potential net-breaking predicament but still had the guts to essentially troll Faber saying, "Nah, I ain't tapping." That's a scary submission to willingly endure, and not many could match that threshold. Major respect is due for Mizugaki there. Let me know which clip shocked you the most down below in the comments. If you liked the video, make sure to smash that like button. And hit subscribe if you want to see more content just like this. See ya!